Welcome to a very special episode of Flirting with Realities. My name is Eric, and this is Carol. Today, we wanted to talk about finding that special someone. That was my gentle introduction.
It was super gentle.
Yeah, super gentle guy. You want to have any discussions about your life, what's happening in your life before we get started on this very special episode of finding your special somebody?
Just more optimizing life. I don't know if you want to talk about it. We have some more abundant things in our life. It's exciting.
Yeah, I guess I've just been hyper focused. I don't even know what else to say about my life other than building this sauna.
Yeah.
So, I guess we skipped last week. We didn't do a podcast last week because
Piper had a orchestra thing.
Oh yeah. My daughter had an orchestra concert, so we decided to go to that. Which, no regrets. Glad I could go see her. So we took last week off, but then last weekend I just got right to it and I started building our sauna. So super stoked about the sauna. That is one thing we've been missing from, well, I should speak for myself. There's one thing I've been missing from the gym that I cannot replace is the sauna. But we've gotten pretty excited watching. We also got a tub so we can do cold baths, so we can couple the sauna and the cold bath therapy together.
Which I think we've done the cold baths before in our bathtub. This is actually going to be outside on the deck, so you're kind of going to be out in nature a little bit while you're doing it. I think it'll be a completely different experience and obviously colder, I think.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. And also my nerdiness about rainwater.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to bathe in rainwater. But I also got I've got the rain gutter going straight into the tub. So if it's raining, it'll keep it flushed with super fresh, popped off, cool rainwater. No chlorine, no fluoride.
Gary Brecka says no amount of fluoride is a good amount of fluoride.
No, I'm with him.
None.
I'm with him. Let me tell you what. Why is fluoride in your water? And it's not for cavities, people.
Yeah.
It's not for cavities. It doesn't. Yeah. Look into it. Why is fluoride in our water? It's interesting. Figure it out for yourself.
Chlorine, fluoride, whatever.
Chlorine makes sense.
Well, to be drinking, I'm not sure it makes sense.
I mean, you got to keep the water clean, so it makes sense in that matter. But yeah, who wants to drink chlorine?
Yeah,
in any amount. I don't want to drink in any amount.
You need to be thinking about that if you are drinking tap water, filtering out the chlorine, because you don't need to be drinking chlorine.
Yeah. So we've been drinking rainwater, which I've tested it, and it has close to nothing in it because I filter it. Just rainwater off our roof. People are telling me, oh, well, you got bird crap and you've got this and that. And, and we tested it and it has like 4 parts per million, which is nothing. And then filtered, it doesn't even, I don't think we're even taking, well, we are taking stuff out because the filters get a little clogged every once in a while. So there's like pollen and stuff like that is most of what we're filtering out. But anyway, this is our pursuit for health. The rainwater, the hydroponics, the diet, the exercise, and now the sauna,
the mindset, the meditation, the breathing, this podcast.
Yeah, everything. And I think we both enjoy it. And that's, well, I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to add about your daily life?
Well, yeah, our other new pursuit. We haven't discussed that, which I think that's a pretty big fucking deal.
Okay.
We have started a new business, King and Queen Incorporated. We're getting that ball rolling, and it's going to be a whole combination of things, but we're starting out in wellness.
Yeah, I think that's what we just talked about. We enjoy wellness, whether that's diet and exercise or saunas or whatever. And so we're going to get into it. And like you said, a new business venture, and it's pretty exciting. I'm ready to get into it and check it all out. And
It is exciting.
you've got you've got wild yam cream
Yes.
ready to go. Start selling that.
Yeah.
Magnesium spray, which is what? What's the purpose?
There's a couple of purposes. One, it can help you sleep. It can reduce muscle ache, but it also is an amazing deodorant. And I had this man test it out, and it worked really well. It does work well.
It actually does. Like I've tried so many hippie natural things that never work.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, okay, magnesium spray in the armpits, whatever. It actually worked.
Yeah.
It actually worked.
I've tested it a few nights as far as like, I know I've talked to you about this, but I can get restless. Like I have restless legs sometimes, and this can really help with that, which is it's pretty amazing. Just some magnesium spray can do all these things. So yeah, I have those two things and lip balm.
There's a lip balm special?
Yeah, I actually combine my wild yam and red clover and a few other things in there. So it actually is very hydrating and special, and these things benefit your body in other ways.
So the lip balm's just for women, and they like their chapstick kind of idea, but it also has health benefits.
You'd be surprised how many men like their lip balm.
Okay, but it's like chapstick for men or women.
Yeah, but another thing that I have been using it for, which I am terrible with, is I get really bad hangnails, and I just keep it in my car, and so it's like a multi-purpose. I put it on my fingernails, and it's just like literally took care of my hangnails. So,
pretty legit.
Yeah,
the stuff works good, and the wild yam cream is all about women's hormones, basically, right?
Men can use it too. Yes, it's a natural balancer. So with menopause or that time of the month, either way, it can help balance hormones naturally, reduce those cramps, reduce menopause symptoms, hot flashes, night sweats.
And talking about stuff that actually works, I guess you were testing a high potency batch the other day, and you got pretty jacked.
I did. Yes. I put it all over my body, but the dosage was, I don't even know.
And I guess
massive.
Yeah, and the reason it got messed up is because Chat AI.
I asked Chat GPT to make the most optimal blend, and I saw what it came up with, and it was excessive, but I'm like, I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens. But yeah, I put it all over my body, and yes, I felt some.
But it was good. It was just a little woo,
Yeah.
But I guess that's the thing, is these things we're going to mess around with. They're not just like placebo. Like, I think this feels good. It's actually like, okay, this works good. This is no joke.
Yeah.
So I think that's the exciting part, is to actually bring something to the table that makes a difference, makes people better.
Well, and it's not a pharmaceutical that is going to have negative effects on you. I mean, anybody should be like, you can have a negative effect or a reaction with anything, so you have to be careful for those sort of things. But it's all natural, which it's not a chemical.
Yeah. So those are 3 exciting things that we already have going, but we have more coming up, and we're just gonna, as long as people support us and we don't go bankrupt doing it, then we're just gonna let it fly and help people become healthy. And I think we enjoy that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of really good ideas because we're both so into wellness, of things we've looked for that would benefit our workouts or just everyday life.
Yeah, super exciting. But I think we need to move on to our main subject, because I think we could really talk for 10 hours about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So this is 10 minutes. Perfect. 10 minutes in. Fast forward through all that stuff we just talked about if you're here for the relationship thing. So what we thought would be a good idea to talk about is, I guess, how do you put this? Like how, but it's not really, well, it is how to find somebody.
It's choosing a life partner.
But it's not that easy.
No.
It's not that easy to choose a life partner because I think, like we were discussing, one of the most important things, I don't want to use the word choosing. One of the most important things about, I don't want to say acquiring, I don't want to say about having, getting a person, getting your soulmate or finding a great person to be with, a lot of that, I think we agreed, has more to do with you than a person that you're finding.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, like what we did tonight, just for fun, is we made a list of things that we're not willing to go without. But the thing is you can't just make a list. You couldn't just take our list and be like, hey, it looks like it worked out for them. I'm going to take their list and I'm going to go find someone that does this. One of, if not the most important thing about finding a good relationship is you being in a good place. And if you didn't make a list, if you didn't have our list, but you just made yourself the best person you could be, by default, you are going to find a person that's better for you. The worst way to go about finding a person is just thinking that you need to find a good person and you don't need to work on yourself at all.
Right? I agree with you. And I've told you this before in my marriage about, I don't know, maybe about midway through, I'd always blamed him for all of our life's problems. But I had this epiphany where I understood that if I ever want anything more than this, it's going to start with me, because I wasn't ready to receive amazing things from someone because I wouldn't have been in the place to give those things.
Yeah.
So I just absolutely confirming what you're saying is it starts with you as an individual.
Yeah. I mean, and I just don't feel like you can stress that point enough. If you are in a bad relationship, it has as much to do with you as it has to do with that other person. And you can't just cancel this relationship and go find a better person.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Because what you're going to do is you're going to go from this relationship that sucks and you're going to find the same level
same
of
relationship,
sucky person.
Different person.
Maybe not even the same relationship. Maybe you have different quirks and different problems, but it's the same level of suck.
Yeah.
If your relationship was a 3 out of 10, the next relationship you're going to go to is a 3 out of 10. Maybe it'll be a 4 out of 10. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe it'll be a 2. But it's just not going to be amazing until you put time into you being amazing. And I think like a good example is like a problem that I had and I still work on is this is an example of how you got to work on yourself. Is I can be, maybe you call it over functioning or over giving. And I think that attracts people that like to take. And so I have to work on that, right? Like if I just give, like if I went on a date and I was like, oh, let me buy that, let me do this, let me give you that, I think it's going to attract a woman that's like, oh, hey, like this is sweet. Some guy that wants to buy me a bunch of stuff, and that's who I'm going to attract, But I think if you take a step back and you're like, I mean, this is something that was really hard for me to deal with, was being on dating apps or something and saying like, hey, I think for our first date, we should go Dutch, and you buy yours, I'll buy mine, because a lot of women will get turned off by that. But it's a boundary, and immediately you're going to turn off every single woman that wants to use you. You will turn them off and they will run away.
Yay.
If you say, I wanted to go Dutch on the first date,
good,
they'll be like, I'm out of here. And you'll be like, oh, that sucks. until you realize, oh, it just got rid of all those women I don't want to be
You
with.
really need to be saying thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly.
Yes.
Later.
So that's something that I've had to work on, is avoiding women that like to use, because I like to give and it attracts a certain person. That's a good example of what we're trying to talk about. Is, I mean, do you have any off the top of your head that?
Well, I just want to add to that I see that this is absolutely no big deal at all. If a guy says, "Hey, let's, go Dutch the first date," I know that this will be controversial with a lot of women, but what I have to say to that is, and Matthew is the one who enlightened me on this. Matthew Hussey, is women expect the man to pay on most dates. Let's be real. And what Matthew says is it okay for the guy to in return expect you to have sex with him?
Yeah.
And to me, it's the best analogy, because why is that any different? If you expect a man to pay, he can expect whatever he wants. But I actually think going Dutch, or even having the woman pay, is, it
shows intent.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was actually one of the most impressive things I've ever had on a date. Is our first date. You, like, it wasn't, I didn't say, let's go Dutch. We were just going to get a coffee, and you were like, I will buy. And you made it a point that you were going to buy. And I was like, holy shit. That was the first time a woman had ever bought me anything on a date, like, ever.
Well, this is a thing that impresses me about you, is that you were perceptive to that, because that's the intent, is to show that I will be a partner, an equal partner. And that is why I offered to pay.
Yeah. And it meant everything. Like, I think a lot of men would just be like, oh, sweet. Well, now, but you could get in trouble with that too, right? Because then the guy's gonna be like, oh, this chick's gonna buy me a bunch of stuff.
I'm really good at boundaries. Well, so I wouldn't have.
So, but that's a great example of, like, you don't have to work on not buying things on the first date because you don't have these problems that I have.
Yeah. I have an agreement with myself that the person will be giving in return as I am giving. And if that isn't what is occurring, then there would be no relationship.
Yeah. So it's all super interesting, but it's a great example, I think, of what we're talking about. You gotta have your ducks in a row. You can't just expect Prince Charming to roll on in and give you a perfect relationship. Because if you are not perfect, you will not have a perfect relationship. And it's even like, if you're a chaotic person, how are you going to have a great relationship? It's you. Yeah. You could, let's say Prince Charming rolls in on his white horse and he wants to be with you. Because you create chaos, or because you create problems, you will not allow a perfect relationship.
Sabotage.
Even with the absolute perfect person. They never fight, they never argue. What if there, I don't know if people know this, but there's people out there that have to have chaos in their lives. They have to have it. And so they will create it. And if they don't get it, then they'll get mad about that.
Yeah.
So again, this is like, even if you bring the perfect person in, that's not the problem. You are the problem. If you're having a crappy relationship right now, chances are you are the part of the problem, at least, or you are the problem.
Well, I just have to say, we talk about this all the time. Anytime you have something going on in your life, you are responsible.
Yeah.
Relationships, careers, family, whatever's coming at you, you can't, like, just point a finger at other people. It's like, what are you tolerating? What do you need to work on with yourself? Being able to look at your weaknesses, like you were talking about. You knew that you had this, like, you like to give, and you knew you attracted people who like to take. Knowing that about yourself, being able to look at those sort of things.
Yeah. That's super interesting. Anything else on the top of your head? but I was going to get to the list.
Let's get to the list.
Okay, so we made this list, and there's a list of things that we would not live without when it comes to a partner. And I tried to discuss this with you earlier, but there are some things that I knew I wouldn't live without. And there are some things after our relationship that I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know this could exist. And I can't live with this without this now, which is, I mean, that's such a awesome surprise. So it's, I don't know, we can get into the list, and she wrote hers and I wrote mine. We'll see. I'm wondering how much of it's similar. You want me to go first, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not in order of importance because I had a hard time putting an importance because it's all important. But and then this is my number one, so a lot of people will be like, but it's true. But I think there needs to be an attractiveness. I need to be attracted to a person, wholly and completely. That is not a thing I'd be willing to give up. To me, you got to have everything because, and this is like the man in me is I think a lot of men look at attractiveness because I think it's so ingrained in us to reproduce and have healthy offspring. And, you know, this might upset some people, but I don't think I could get into overweight women because it's just not healthy. To me, in my opinion, it's just, well, I'm not even going to say that. It's just not healthy. It's not healthy to be severely overweight. Number one, it's going to cause you health problems. You're going to go to the doctor. But number two, there very well could be a mental thing going on that makes you overeat. And so I think that turns me off. And to me, I'm fine with that. I don't think there's a problem with being turned off, even by somebody who's not attractive, somebody who doesn't look good. It's just, but the thing is like, I do understand and I am forgiving to a point of like, you get to know somebody and then they become attractive. But that goes the other way too. There can be a supermodel, actual super beautiful looking woman, and then you get to know her and she's not attractive. So I'm not stuck on like a basic attractiveness or anything like that. I'm open-minded enough to know that you can get somebody like, hey, I mean, I think she's not the hottest woman I've ever seen, but she's pretty good looking. But I'll get to know her because I know that can grow, you know. But so I think attractiveness all down the line, like not just the face, not just, the whole entire package for me needs to go there. And especially because I think if you even just have like a one body part that you're not willing to get over, if it's a big deal to you, like maybe you got 6 toes and that's a big deal to you. Not that it is to me, but I think it can build resentment. I think you can look at that person's 6 toes and I think you can build resentment on that thing if you're not careful over time, and it can cause problems. So I think being attractive to the whole entire package is important from the start.
I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Attractiveness, that sort of chemistry feeling, and it's not just visual to me, it's intellectual, it's absolutely for me physical, and I think it's because I'm someone who has put time into my body. I understand what that takes to do that. So that's an attractive quality. Like attractiveness is like huge.
Yeah.
But I'll just give you the one that I put on my list.
Okay, hold on.
So my list, and I'm moving around in order of importance to me that I remember. By the way, that was on my list. Yours was on my list.
Well, actually, before you go on though, you made a really good point because we were talking about it earlier. And would you say that if you don't look for overall attractiveness in the beginning and you do accept a flaw, like you're kind of setting yourself and that other person up for failure?
Yeah, well, it's not fair to the other person if you're not fully attracted to them, I don't think. For me, I want someone completely attracted to me, like every part of me. And I'm sure a lot of women want that. And it's not fair to them because you're not fully attracted to them. And it's not fair to you because you're going without something that you want and could have.
Yeah, and to explain not fair is, if you get 5 years into a relationship and then you're like, I can't do it anymore, and you knew from the beginning
Yeah.
that you weren't attracted, and then 5 years, and so that other person's totally in love with you, then you got to be like, this isn't working out so good anymore. And so you wasted your life and they wasted theirs. Like, just be real up front. Like, this person is not all there for me and it's not going to work. Not just in attractiveness, but across the board, right? If you know from the get-go, don't even go there.
This is all part of getting to know yourself, right? Because you may, like, let me just say, a younger version of me wasn't aware that that was even, no one taught me how to pick a partner. And I think that we don't tell people how to pick partners. And I think one big thing to teach people is, one, it's not just sexual attraction, because you can lose that really quick. It's like you said, they can be a supermodel and then you're like, what the fuck? This person's personality just ruins everything. But I forget where I was going with that.
Well, but just to add to that, that's why we wanted to do this podcast, because you're like, how come nobody ever teaches you how to pick a partner, like in school? And my answer is because nobody knows how.
Well, nobody knows how to get to know themselves either. You're not teaching people that either.
Look at the value you're getting in this podcast.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, we were thinking about, like, think about all the relationships, how many of them, most relationships, I think, are, well, Chris Rock has that joke. He says 50% of all marriages end in divorce, and the other 50% are too big of cowards to get a divorce. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that's kind of how it goes is, if you look at all your relationships, you think about the ones that are together, and the ones that are together are like, well, you have to kind of accept their faults, and you kind of have to be willing to give, and, happy wife, happy life. Like, there's all this bullshit, because that's what somebody who doesn't live a fulfilling life sounds like.
I think so.
But so we don't want those people to give us advice on how to pick somebody.
Yeah, I don't believe in the happy wife, happy life saying. Whoever came up with that is ridiculous, because I think it's happy partners, happy life. I mean, it's not just one person being happy.
But it's not even a happy partner. It's happy you. You make yourself happy, and you're happy.
But that's on my list.
Oh, well, let's get to the list.
Well, I feel like we should just skip to that one since you said that, but I'm not going to. Because my first one is...
the most important?
It's pretty much up there.
This is backwards, the way a really good YouTuber would do it. They'd be like, hang on, we'll be back for more. Wait for the number one reason to pick a partner. But not us. We do it backwards. We just
go right.
We don't toy with you. We're going to give you the best shit up front, and then if you hang out, that's good. If not, see you.
Well...
I thought about that earlier. I was like, maybe we should do a list of importance, because then we can do the hanger. We can make them stay. Like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, hopefully you'll stay anyway.
No.
They're all important. This one just is the most important. So mine is, and I'm just skimming, it could not be the most important. Trust, honesty, and loyalty, which is something I wouldn't skimp on. And
all wrapped up into one, huh?
Yeah. And trust, like, has turned into something I didn't even, like, realize, because I'll give an example of something that we do that's allowed me to build a trust with you. You've been really good at that from the beginning, like really following through with what you say and stuff like that. But for instance, our last situation. I don't want to call it an argument. It wasn't really a disagreement. It was just something that came up that we had to talk about. And something that you do is continually show up for that, remain calm. You give me a respect. You don't just start like spewing off things and hurt my feelings. And I think it's very profound. I think we both do it with each other. We respect what we have and we don't want to fuck it up. And we know words are important during those times. And yeah. So trust, honesty, and loyalty. And I think it kind of is all wrapped up together.
Yeah, I think so too. I had honesty on my list also. And I think this is what I'm saying, like number one, they're all important, but how could you, if you had the most attractive woman in the world that you enjoyed being around, how could you have a relationship with her if you couldn't trust her?
Yeah.
I mean, it would just, it's like, it's a killer. It's probably more of a killer than I could probably be with a not so good looking person easier than a person I can't trust.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because not being good looking is not entirely a deal breaker, but not being able to trust you, it is. It's like, I mean, it would make me mad and resentful, and I just wouldn't want to be around you. It's like trust it's a big deal, a huge deal.
It's huge.
But if you listen to our other podcasts, and that's actually like our best podcast as far as views so far, is trust and why trust is so important. So you should go check it out. But I think you and I have both come to the conclusion that you cannot have a successful relationship not only with trusting somebody, but 100% trusting somebody. Not even 100% trusting somebody, but never having a moment of distrust. If you have one moment of distrust, that means to me you can't completely trust a person in the future, because you will always go like, yeah, but they did lie that one time. There's always that little hint, that little sand, that little grain of sand that's like, they did, and it's all messed up from that very first time that there's dishonesty. So honesty is a giant deal.
I think so.
But rather than go into that, like I said, go check out the other podcast about honesty and why it's so important. Okay, so my next one on my list was finding somebody that is working on themselves, like we talked about.
It's on my list too.
but not only just working on ourselves, but moving forward. I want to move forward in my life. I want to move forward. I want to be better every single day, because why wouldn't you? And if you have somebody in your life that's complacent with not moving, I'm just fine. Everything's fine. Don't want to move forward. I can't move forward without you moving forward. And if I do move forward without you moving forward, we're going to grow apart.
Yeah,
and now we're not going to be together anymore.
Yeah.
So a huge goal in my life is to always push and always go and always find more and be happier, be healthier, be more successful, whatever success means. And like I said, you have to be in that place too. But I think I knew that, but I don't think I appreciated it as much until I found you, because it really made me go like, oh, wow. Like, one of the most awesome things in our relationship is I feel like you and I are always like, I push myself to be better, and I try to push you to be better, but you do the same, and it does push me to be better. So not only am I pushing myself to be better, but I have you pushing me to be better, which is like two of me's pushing myself to be better. And so we're both like, if we didn't have each other, it'd be like, okay, I'm getting better. But now that we have each other, it's like, I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
Giant leap.
Yeah, we're both getting better at all times. And it's like, it's wild when you have somebody in your life that wants the best for you and like is pushing themselves, and they also want you to be better, and it's just, that's a big deal.
Well, I think too, not only what I think wanting the best for you, but I don't think that there's like an agenda behind it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's a,
like go to church or something. It'd
like,
be better if you go to church. Or
I want this for you, for myself too.
Yeah.
Like I really just want the best for you. Like whether that includes me or not.
And push for that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want it, push for that because it'll make them happier.
Yes. Yeah.
Which still makes you happy. I thought I heard something.
Yeah, I think that definitely was on mine too. I might have said something like I wrote things along with mine.
Oh, maybe it was the ice maker. Sounded like the ice maker was dropping some ice down there.
Works on his relationship with himself and willing to work on things together is what I put for that.
What's your next on the list?
Some of these things are just kind of probably repetitive. I think the next one is that we're so similar in a lot of ways.
I had that on mine.
That's
so similar, yeah.
Like, so I put sex, playful flirting, foreplay, traveling, working out, conversation, things to try. We go to bed together.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I had being similar on mine, but then I had like the sex part or whatever. I had all that totally separated from that. But I think being similar, so we've talked about this, and I've always heard from other people like, oh, well, you want to be in a relationship where you guys are different because that's the spice of life. You know, that's what keeps life interesting. And like, there's all these things that people say about being opposites attract.
Yeah.
But what about that one? Opposites attract. Like, oh, this is great. Find somebody that's the opposite of you.
I think that's true if you're like wanting chaos in your life.
I think so. But here's the thing is every relationship I've ever had, like nobody's really been similar. And it's always irritated the shit out of me. And I've always been like, there's something wrong with me because I'm like selfish. I want things my way, you know, or something like that. And then like, so we had this conversation the first time. I mean, you and I knew we were similar in a lot of ways, but one of the first times that it was like super rewarding, we were talking about, it was like, we went to the gym and you and I both, before I met you, if I was in a relationship, it's always like, how long are you going to be at the gym? How long is it going to take? You go to the gym 7 days a week and you're there for hours. And it's like, I like to go to the fucking gym. Okay. This is what I like to do. Like, leave me alone. And so the first time I think we actually like super were engulfed in this is we went to the gym and we probably worked out for fucking 2 hours. I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, but I remember it was like, we were both kind of sitting there going, what's going on? But I think we worked out for a long time. I think we sat in the sauna for a long time. And then the gym was like, hey, we have these massage chairs. And we were both like, well, let's just see what they're like. And then we went to the massage chairs and like, we're in there like 30, 45 minutes. And I think we were both like, oh shit. Like, I'm feeling guilty because I know they want to go. And like, I don't want to go. And I think we were both kind of looking at each other and we're like, do you want to go? Like, and we were both like, holy shit, I can't believe you're still here with me. And like, you're enjoying what I'm enjoying. But okay, so opposites attract. You don't like going to the gym. You don't like fucking waiting around for me for things I do. Like, that sucks. But you being similar, we're both fucking enjoying the gym and everything we're doing. We're sitting in the massage chairs. Like, we couldn't be better. Like, we're just happy doing what we're doing because we both enjoy the same things.
I do have to say, though, I know you talk a lot about women, and I have to say I've had a lot of women friends who, I'm from Alaska, and the slope is a thing in Alaska, and I know a lot of women, wives, who enjoyed their man leaving for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I think this depends on what kind of relationship that you are wanting to have with. I don't think people are all like us.
Yeah.
Like we both were wanting intimacy and a partnership and a friendship, which is another thing that like not everybody wants all this. So assessing you and things that you want is all part of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's super important, is to know what you want.
Yeah, because could you imagine a gentleman marrying who wants what we want, marrying one of these women? So he's not going to get that intimate piece because he hasn't like evaluated these things, or vice versa.
But I think that's what we're talking about. Is that's the hard part to understand. Is, and this is why I feel like we got so lucky, is because I thought I knew what I wanted, and then I got together with you, and I was like, oh shit, what is this? Like, this is interesting. Like, this is like unexpected. And I'm like, damn, I would have never sought this out, but I'm super lucky I got it. So, but this is what we were talking about. Like, other people shouldn't give people on how to find somebody for a relationship.
Yeah.
But even for us, I mean, just kind of got lucky in a lot of ways too. You know, like there was some basics, but like I could have easily gotten all my basics when I met you, and then it still would have been missing things that you just accidentally gave me. But that could also go back to our very first point, that you need to work on yourself, because I probably attracted that because of where I put myself. I attracted somebody that was like me because I feel like I wanted somebody that was like me.
I think that I for surely manifested a lot of you basically.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Let's see. Oh, well, my very next thing was, well, it was honest, which we talked about. And then like-minded, like the same things, which we just talked about. So my next one was not controlling, which kind of goes to the like-minded thing.
Oh my God, I basically had that. It's worded very differently, but
allowing me to be me, like we were talking about.
That's what I said, allowing me to be me.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
But we're even talking about like religion. Like if you, I mean, I don't know if you've actually nailed down what you believe religiously, but I think that's the important thing, is I don't care.
Yeah.
You can believe whatever you want to believe in, but I want that freedom to do it too. You know, I want to be able to, like, oh shit, well, you know, Jehovah's Witness sounds good. Maybe I'll go do that this week.
Yeah.
Go explore it and check it out a little bit. And
that's one thing that I think is really cool, is I want you to like have whatever makes you happy. So whatever you believe, I want that for you. I wouldn't, I want your happiness. So I would want you to follow something that you felt compelled to follow.
Yeah, well, one thing, I still get anxiety about it today, and I guess it's PTSD, but like I can come home, say I come home from hiking, and I know you're in here on, like, you know, in the living room or something, and like I come home from hiking and I'm like, oh, there's a couple things I need to do in the garage. And so I'm out there doing things in the garage, and maybe I'm taking like a half hour. I get this PTSD because I think of past experiences where I'm waiting to turn around and see you and be like, are you coming in anytime soon?
Yeah, that always surprises me because I'm perfectly fine by myself. I actually,
yeah, I don't know if they were having a problem being by themselves. I think it was more like controlling me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't mind you piddling. I like that you have your own things to do.
But it goes along with my not being controlled. Like listen, I'm not just, well, I guess sometimes I'm out there just to screw around, but for the most part, it's like something I want to get done or something I need to get done, and I don't need somebody coming out there going like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to come inside."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm a grown ass man, and I can figure out when I need to come inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, it's the woman with the hands on her hips going like, "What are you doing? You've been out here for a long time." I'm like, I don't want that. don't want anything to do with that.
This is kind of combined with another thing on my list, that a man who has a lot of endurance, and I think that this kind of intertwines with this, so I'm just going to include it. You like to do a lot of things, and it's something I like about you, and I'm not going to, like, if I asked for your time and you said yes, and then you went and did something, my feelings would be for sure hurt, and I would need to express that. But just that I enjoy that you have this endurance and things that you're interested in doing, and I would not want that to change, so I don't ever want to impede on that in any way. It's something I find attractive. But I also had that, and you said it the way I said it.
Allowing me to be me or whatever.
Yeah, allowing me to be myself, basically, which to me is a big deal because I have never had that. I've always had someone very controlling. I would get the silent treatment. And one thing that really stood out to me is one weekend your kids were here, and I just needed to go to the gym, and you were very, yeah, just go do what you need to do. And I don't do that a lot, but sometimes, like, I need to take care of myself. And I think that's another part of it, is I like knowing that you know how to take care of yourself. And if you need something like a hike or yoga or jujitsu, like, I need you to be happy and taking care of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to happy wife, happy life, or just happy you, happy me. You know, it's happy everybody.
Yeah.
But when you say, hey, I want to go to the gym, I got to go to the gym, I'm not doing good. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like, do you have any guilt? Or are you able to, like, shit, he said, go ahead. I'm out of here.
I am completely understanding that I have some feelings at times that are not even related to you.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm asking. Like me being out in the garage and being like, I'm going to turn around, she's going to be here. But it's been like 3 years and you've never done anything like that to me.
Yeah.
But I still have that feeling of like, I got to get inside. I'm getting anxious because I know she's going to have her hands on her hips. She's going to be like, what are you doing outside, mister?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because yes, I do have something, but I also have a ability to go, this isn't real.
Yeah, but it's still like you have to be mindful of the thought and the feeling to like go, nope, this isn't real. Yeah. Because your mind, like, even if you say it's not real, it still comes back.
I still very much have to talk myself out of things still, even though that you've never, like, remember that one time I was like, I'm going to get my hair done, and I had like it was before we were living together, and I had some sort of weird,
you got in trouble, you thought you were in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it was because I was always in trouble. Always. Like, I couldn't do anything right. And yeah, I think that kind of sticks with you for a long time. But I do have the capability to recognize that pretty quickly.
Yeah. Interesting. Where your past and your thoughts can sabotage your own relationships. It's not even true when I say you can go to the gym and you're like, well, why is he mad at me for going to the gym? And I'm like, I'm not. And that's where the trust comes in, and that's where your understanding of yourself and like.
But also, this kind of goes with the trust, loyalty, and honesty, and you showing up is like, I know that you will tell me if something's wrong, and being able to rely on that is really been helpful for me to talk myself out of crazy thoughts.
But you know, that's the craziest part about, I feel like this is happening in all my life. But if you want to talk about relationships and finding somebody in a relationship, that's the crazy part. Is you got to have the entire package, right? Number one, you got to work on yourself. And number two, you got to have the honesty. Number three, you got to have all these things because they all play in together. like the not controlling you plays in part with you trusting me. But that plays in part with you being a certain person that attracted to certain person that would do those certain things. It's all like this huge thing that's rolled into a ball that they can't live without each other.
Yeah, I put on there build a foundation, and that's basically what you just described. This is like a foundation so you can handle like.
Well, you can't have a free floating attic.
Yeah.
The attic has to sit on the house.
Yeah.
Which has to sit on the foundation.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't just have a piece of that house. You've got to have the whole entire house.
For sure.
So this is actually a huge one for me. And maybe this is a flaw, but I don't care. I don't want to fix it. But I enjoy that you enjoy spending time with me. Like, I think we have spent 3 lifetimes together with the amount of time that we have spent together in the last 3 years. And not only enjoy the amount of time that I spend with you, I enjoy that I'm not even close to being sick of you. Like, I enjoy you more and more every single day. But I guess I'm a needy person. And so I would need that in a person, is somebody that's willing to spend a lot of time with me and I need a closeness. And you give that to me through your time. And so that's very important to me.
I desire a closeness. I'm not sure if I need it, but I desire it.
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting question, but I would say I need it.
Yeah.
I would need, it's a feeling that I need to have, I feel like, in life to be satisfied.
Yeah, I think desire and need are pretty much the same thing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I guess you could say, like, well, do you need it? Could you live by yourself for the rest of your life? Yeah, could I? Would I be happy? No.
Yeah. Especially after I've had it with you and I enjoy your company so much, it's absolutely something I wouldn't want to live without.
Yeah, I mean, if you died, like, it would be horrible. It'd be sad. And I wouldn't want to live the rest of my life alone.
Yeah.
It's way better this way. And that's
Way
why
better.
that's why I feel like I need it. But yeah, if you died, it's like, I mean, yeah, I would survive. I would live, until I died. I could live alone. Like, I can do it. But I definitely wouldn't be as happy then as I am now. I mean, I don't think so, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like that one and agree with you. I'm not sure if this is in order, but this one's really important. And maybe it kind of coincides with some stuff we've already said, but you might even relate to what we just talked about, but you share yourself with me. You share your feelings and you share what you're doing with your work. You share your experience with your kids, what you're going through in other areas, and it's something I absolutely wouldn't want to live without. It makes me feel super close to you.
I call that venting.
Well, call it what you may, but I think it's unusual for a man to
Really?
be, yeah.
What, that men are just usually quiet and they don't talk about that kind of stuff? Just talk about football or something?
I don't think many men are in touch with like what they're going through.
Really?
I've never experienced it before.
Wow, that's weird to hear. It's funny, yeah. I read this thing today on Facebook, and they were talking about Christmas, and kind of ironically, what I've talked about is like, hey, does everybody know, by the way, that this isn't Jesus's birthday? And I was like, this is funny because this is what I've been saying. And this one guy comes in and he goes, hey man, I was raised a Christian, and I've never known that it wasn't Jesus's birthday. And like, he was arguing actually beforehand, like that it was Jesus's birthday, and he was citing scriptures and shit. But anyway, he's like, I've always thought it was Jesus' birthday, and I think this is like belittling to Christians, and I would just rather you guys not bring this sort of thing up. And I was like, man, that's crazy. It's like the Matrix where they talk about the people that are willing to fight you to keep things the same. They don't want to know the truth. But it's just,
yeah, we could go into like religion and what I think about that. But yeah,
but it's the same thing you were just talking about. Like people aren't in touch with whatever you're saying, their daily goings on and stuff. But it's like this person doesn't want to know like about Christmas and how it's not about Jesus' birthday. Like,
I think a lot of people are like would prefer just not knowing things.
I know, but it's crazy. It's crazy. It's the people in the Matrix that are like, no, we're not in the Matrix, even though I can see that we are. I know that we are. I'm not going to admit it. I'm not going to go there with you.
Yeah, it's the guy who like went against everybody else to get back in the Matrix so we could eat steak. And
yeah, it's this. People don't want to see reality, and it's so interesting because I don't know. There's a lot of bad things about reality, but there's a lot of amazing things about reality too. I don't know how you live life without being in reality. Okay, so this one's actually a big deal, and it kind of goes with the other one. But I like lots of touching.
Affection is on my list too.
Yeah, holding hands is amazing. Like we've never not held hands in the car when we've driven, and we've gone on huge road trips and stuff. Even when we're at home, you know, like one of my favorite places is like laying down in your lap and just being comforted by you. But the touch and the affection is like, I would say it's a need, just like spending time together with you.
Yeah.
It's a aspect of connection that I need. You know, you'd say human, but I'd say more like a spiritual or a mental connection. And I would say with somebody, but I mean with you.
Yeah. It's on my list too.
Oh, wow. That's very similar to mine.
Very similar. See, there's so many things, like I said that one. Said that one. We said that one. Said that one.
I think I only have like 2 more or something, maybe 3 more. I don't know how long this video's gone on, but I think we're probably sitting close to 50 minutes, maybe.
Oh, I put on here communication, that you're willing to have a difficult conversation. Understanding it will build a stronger foundation. That's what I put. So communication is huge. I wouldn't live without that ever again.
Yeah, I think that one kind of goes back into working on yourself.
It does.
And then
a lot
trust,
of mine
loyalty.
are intertwined. Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about, right? It's like they all work with each other. They're all the same things.
Yeah, they kind of are, because then I'm just going to say this, because that you can sit in your own thoughts without distraction is fucking amazing.
Yeah. And then I said one that's important is sexually compatible. And I'm not talking about important sexually to me isn't like we're swingers together or we only do missionary style. Like that's not the kind of sexuality I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I think it's very important, the what do I say? Just the consistency, meaning how many times, because I think that can be a huge problem in relationships. If one person needs sex all the time and the other person wants it once a month, I think that causes huge conflicts. So I think that's something, again, something that just kind of popped up that I wouldn't ever, and I don't know how you'd look for it anyway, but is the consistency of sex, whether you want to have, I think you just want to have it the same amount as the other person. Like I say, I don't know how you figure that one out. Like, good luck.
I mean, I don't think you can without getting to know someone, because I have to tell you, it's that we are compatible, but like the flirtiness, like I need all that to fuel that drive. So it's our dynamic that creates it all.
Well, and let me just bring this up just for entertainment value. Do you think people that okay, so there's definitely people that want to have sex, you know, whatever, every hour even. And that can be a thing. And I guess people that never want to have sex can be a thing, but don't you think that maybe people that never want to have sex, it's more of like let's go back to step number one, you got to work on yourself. And then number two, if you have a healthy relationship and you're having fun and you're enjoying each other, I think that builds a libido.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like, I don't know actually that we are sexually compatible in the how consistent we are about it. It just happens to be that we're into each other, we're having fun with each other, and so that kind of makes you have a libido whether you want one or not. Plus being healthy, eating good and exercise will build a libido.
For sure.
So it's like everything, it's kind of like if you didn't have a good libido, if you're exercising, if you're working on yourself, if your relationship's good, like if everything's going good in life and you don't have a libido, what's the problem? Maybe it's your hormones, but that goes back to your health.
Well, that's something that is a subject to talk about nowadays with all these things that are disruptors for hormones, and people don't even know that is a possibility. But plastics, chemicals, fluoride, God only knows what else that can be disrupting your hormones, which you could just think that you're not into sex, and it could be an imbalance. So working on you, that's all part of it.
Diet, exercise, sleep.
Yeah.
Everything plays a part, but that's what I'm saying is like, don't you think somebody that doesn't want a libido or doesn't have a libido, it could be very much that they're not taking care of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, there's things like, hey, you just had kids? Okay. Like you got kids running around, like that can happen to me. Like if I have a day with my kids, it's like I'm good today, Carol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you got kids running around the house, like there's some things that are like, man, it's stressful. If you're working a job that's hard, like, well, maybe you should work on that job too, you know, unless you really love it. But are you going to sacrifice a good job for intimacy with your spouse? You know, these are things you should think about too. Like you only have one life to live.
Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely on to something, that hitting all these boxes is, working on you. And it's pretty amazing that all these things like contribute to.
Yeah. I think kids are the only ones I give a hard pass on kids.
I think kids, there are some other things. You could be going through some things in life, like
somebody died or
imbalance.
Hormone imbalance. So is like, it should be somewhat temporary, meaning 6 months, a year, maybe. But you need to take care.
Menopause can be 10 years. And there are possibly women who may not believe in HRT intervention. So, yes, work on it the best you can.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I'm going to be hard-headed, because you might not believe in it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing it.
Well,
you might not believe in exercising daily either, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing it.
There's great information on like intermittent fasting and boosting hormones. There are absolutely things you could try first before that.
Intermittent fasting, like, all the stuff we talk about, the saunas, ice bath, wipe a bunch of wild yam cream all over your body.
Yeah.
Like like, listen, there's things you can do. That's what I'm saying is like, let's figure it out. This isn't like a 3-year, I don't have a libido. Like, no, let's listen. If you're eating good and you're exercising and you're wiping wild yam cream all over yourself and you're taking ice bath and you still don't have a libido, okay, well, let's give you a pass.
Yeah.
If you're not doing any of that crap, well, let's get to work.
Yeah.
Let's get to work. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your spouse.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just lost half the crowd, but
Well,
it's
I mean,
how I feel.
I think especially if your partner wants connection, it's, I mean, something to think about. But maybe you're lacking that because of a chemical reason, and it's not that you're really just not interested.
Yeah, and I guess it's easy to say, but I mean, a lot of people don't care or don't have the knowledge, and so it's just kind of like, well, it's the guy we just talked about that like doesn't want to know that he's in the matrix. They don't, you know, if you don't want to know like what's happening in life and like what's going on, and
It's easy for us to
yeah,
say all this. I mean, we don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
sorry, somebody in your life doesn't want sex more than once a month. Once every 6 months. Anyway, next subject, I guess. Somebody's mad right now. Like, I can't believe my
They're
husband
not
wants
even
sex.
watching anymore if they're mad.
Get in here and watch this. These guys are telling me you need to do some exercise. Which is true. Do some exercise. Get to work. Both of you.
I think that we've kind of covered all mine.
I think I got one more. No, I got one or two more.
One thing that I wouldn't want to live without is you have this impeccable way of seeing ways to like optimize us in our relationship. Like, you'll be super busy and then you'll be like, I think we should go sit at the mall and have a coffee together. Or you're just really good at that. Like, making sure that we have quality time.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just want to spend time with you, so no excuses to do it.
I think that was my last one.
Okay. So I guess I had two more. Oh. Yeah, I had two more. I need somebody that's a hard worker and that does not quit when they're doing something. And that doesn't mean I necessarily need somebody that's successful. I just need somebody that will go do things. And if you do fail, you get back up. And like we painted the bedroom, I guess probably like 3 or 4 months ago now. But we painted that bedroom, and you and I both, we just got after it. And I don't have to turn around and be like, hey, Carol, you want to help me paint? Like, are we both doing this, or am I doing this?
Yeah.
I don't have to do that with you, and you don't have to do it with me. And that's super important. That's like you paying for the coffee on a first date. Like, you're telling me you're going to be there. You're going to be there with me. And that's what painting is like, oh shit, like she's working hard, I'm working hard. Like, we're both in this together. We're a team. And that's what I want. Is I don't want to, I mean, we're in the middle of like job transitioning, but I've had past relationships, let's say, where I'm working my ass off and the other person's just chilling because they can, because I'm paying the bills. And like, no, I want you. I used to say this all the time. I don't give a fuck if you go work at McDonald's. Just go work at McDonald's. Go work at 7-Eleven. Go deliver newspapers. Walk fucking dogs. I don't care. Do something. And it has nothing to do with the money. There's nothing at all to do with the money. Just show up with me. Just be here.
Yeah.
Be here with me and try. It goes back to like bettering yourself. I want to better myself. I want to be better every day. And if you're sitting over there on your ass, just coasting while I'm trying to better everything, it's not helping. It's not working out. And I don't want that. I want to better myself. I want you to better you, which betters me. And we excel. Like, that's what I have to have. So I need somebody that works. But we've kind of been looking into that. But you still have the principle there. Like, you show up for me, and that's the important part. And I can't go without that in a person.
Me too.
And then the last one is I actually don't think I could deal with somebody that's not into health and fitness. And I mean, I'm glad I left that one for the last, because I don't think I could have explained it as well as what everything we just talked about explained. Is it's what we just said, like libido or happiness or even trust. Like, I think it's easier to be an honest person when you have a clear mind because you eat and exercise. And it's just everything included. Health and fitness is very important. And it's even like, who wants to be with somebody that turns 60 and their body's shot, and you're wearing diapers and I gotta clean your diapers because you haven't taken care of yourself, or you're on 40 medications. It's just like come on, like, I don't want to take care of you before I need to, like, it's too early.
Yeah.
Like, let's both try to take care of ourselves and live a long life.
That was actually super important to me because it's such a big part of my life that my partner be into that as well. Like, I think it's just such a way to improve yourself and empower yourself that it's just kind of like almost an essential.
Well, but too, it's like, it's interesting because we talk about in our other podcasts that you should check out. We talk about being zombies and stuff, and how we kind of feel like there's become clarity in our lives, and how we've kind of moved away from being zombies ourselves into more of a clear space. And we talk about health and fitness pretty much is what got us there.
I think that's what started for me for sure. And then not including all these shitty foods which is all part of health and fitness.
Yeah. But it's like, if you didn't have somebody that was into health and fitness, would you be able to exist with them? Because I don't think they'd be in that same realm with you.
No, I mean, it's too far off for me. It's not even I absolutely wouldn't live without that.
Yeah, I just wish you could show people how important it is. It's not. I think people just look at. The funny thing is, like, I was thinking about this other day, and I think I posted it on our pages. People always, like, somebody like is into health and fitness and they die early, like die in their 50s or something. They're like, well, see, it didn't help them a fucking bit. They should have just fucking ate pizza and ice cream. Yeah. Like, that's not the point, jackass.
Well, not only that, is their quality of life why they were alive.
That's the point. And that's what I said on the post. Is I said, health is not about living a long life. Health is about enjoying every life or every day until you die.
Yeah.
It's not about living to be 150. That's not the point. It's about tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's about today. It's about setting yourself up tomorrow to have a great day. If you have pizza and ice cream today, that's what you are tomorrow. If you exercise and eat salad today, that's who you are tomorrow. And you got to set yourself up. But I don't know. It's just interesting that people don't understand the actual benefits. And it's hard to understand the benefits unless you've been there, but nobody wants to try to get there.
Another thing too that we've talked about is how clouding eating fast food and sugar is. Like, you're in a state that's hard to understand, like, that you're in when you're in it. But they're even talking about now what sugar actually does to you. And like, if you think about how you feel after you have a bag of chips, and if you allow yourself to have some the next day, then it's like the next day is horrible. Like, that's all you can think about is more of those chips.
Yeah.
And it's psychologically impacting your life in a way that you don't even understand. That's causing you cravings, like discomfort, crazy thoughts.
This is the way I think about those. Like, I was thinking about this the other day about people who choose shitty drugs. And what I mean by that is alcohol is a shitty drug.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like alcohol.
I used to.
But the thing is, and I get it, I used to drink a lot of alcohol too. But here's why it's a shitty drug. I think it has horrible effects. I don't like the effects of alcohol, but I understand that people do. But even if you even if you like the effects of alcohol, I'll tell you why it's a shitty drug, even if you like the effects of alcohol, is because when you wake up the next morning, you feel like shit.
The next 3-5 days.
Yeah, that's why it's a shitty drug. And let me tell you something, and I think a lot of people will laugh at me for saying this, but this is why exercise is an amazing drug. And if you don't think exercise is an amazing drug, it's because you never exercised hard enough. Exercise is an amazing drug because you can get as high or higher, and this is where everybody's going to laugh, you get as high or higher on exercise as you can drinking or other drugs, cocaine, whatever. I've done these things, and I know I have been so high in yoga that I didn't know my yoga instructor was grabbing my arm and talking to me. I was that high. And it was it felt good. It was a good high. And then guess what? The next day, I felt good. When you drink alcohol, the next day you feel like shit. And that's why you drink more alcohol, so you can feel even worse. But the thing is like drinking alcohol is easy. Going to yoga is hard. But if you really want to get high, there are better drugs out there. You just have to put some effort into them. But I'm telling you,
I've never felt anything like I did when I used to run for 7 to 10 miles.
Yeah, running was amazing. But you know, I'm getting back on my bike now. But I used to get so high on my bike, riding my bike, that I mean, like, you know, I did 110 miles one day. I rode my bike for like 9 hours, and I got high as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I used to do, is I used to go ride my bike for hours and hours, 50, 60 miles consistently, just getting high. And that's what I'm saying, is like, these people that are choosing alcohol or, you know, meth, or I don't know what you're doing, it's not as good a high. You guys are wasting your time with those crappy drugs. Like, get into something that gets you actually high. You know what I'm saying?
A good high.
Well, but it's not even that. It's actually a better high. Like, your drugs are weak compared to these drugs.
Well, that, and they're making you better the next day.
That's what I'm saying. Your drugs are weak.
Yeah.
You're dealing with elementary school drugs. You need to graduate and act like an adult. Good drugs. A lot of people will think that's a joke, but hey, whatever. What else you got?
Oh, my list is done.
Done. You got anything else? You're like quite the relationship guru. A lot of you probably suggest Matthew Hussey. He's a pretty helpful dude, right?
Oh yeah.
Check out Matthew
Jay
Hussey.
Shetty, Matthew Hussey.
Oh, Jay Shetty's a relationship guy?
He talks about relationships. He's super smart.
Jay Shetty, Matthew Hussey, anybody else that helped you on with? You know who helped me out quite a bit in the early days was Loveline, old school Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. That was super helpful for me. I don't know if you can still find those, but I don't know. They're not the same thing now that they're separate, and even though they're together, you can try them out, but they're not the same thing. They were helpful for me. You know, I went and got therapy. You can go to therapy. That was, like we were saying, you know, if you want to find somebody that's right, you fix yourself first. So therapy was a big deal for me. Therapy was a huge deal.
Yeah, you know, a big thing that I went through was, I say this all the time, is I used to think not feeling was a way to be badass, and it's the total opposite. Like, life is fucking amazing when you allow yourself to look at things and tell people difficult shit, even though it's hard, and yeah, face the feelings. Don't distract yourself with booze and drugs, and be willing to take a look and sit with yourself, and not just in front of a TV or listening to music. Sit with yourself.
Okay. What you got?
That's what I got.
Okay, so the usual, you know, like, subscribe. We're on Facebook, on YouTube, Spotify. So come check it out. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's going to be an hour and 20 or something. But we thought it was very important. Like we said, we don't feel like anybody ever tells you about how to pick somebody, and we're not sure how many people are qualified. We might not be qualified, so don't listen to us. Well,
I think everybody's different. Like, just take a look at yourself and get to know yourself.
yeah, but maybe something we said tonight will resonate with you, and it'll help you along with your journey. So that's all I'm hoping for.
Me too.
Okay, we'll see it.